afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. We have a big-time women's college basketball game tipping off at the Prudential Center in New Jersey right now. The 14th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes taking on 10th-ranked TCU. Tyler Danberg has the call over on the Fan 2. Following their 33-30 overtime loss to the Denver Broncos yesterday, the Buffalo Bills have fired head coach Sean McDermott this morning. In his 9 seasons with Buffalo, McDermott had a record of 98-50. The team made the postseason in 8 of those seasons with a record of 8-8 and 2 trips to the AFC Championship game. The Bills are the 10th NFL team to have a head coaching vacancy this offseason. Coming off a win over UCLA on Saturday, the Ohio State men's basketball team back in action hosting Minnesota tomorrow night. The Jake Diebler Show next on The Fan. This one brought to you by BMI Federal Credit Union. Need help recovering from the holidays? Get a holiday loan from BMI at bmifcu.org/holiday loan.
From Learfield, this is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Thanks, as always, for joining us for this week's show with Ohio State head coach Jake Diebler. And we come to you today on the heels of the 86-74 win Saturday afternoon over UCLA here at the Schottenstein Center. Jake, had to be a lot of things you liked about that basketball game when you looked at it after the fact.
Yeah, I think, and starting with the crowd, I thought the energy in the shot was really good. Appreciate, everybody coming out and getting behind us on that one because we fed off that. And then, listen, I thought we had some really significant stretches of high-level play on both sides of the ball. There was a little bit of a defensive lull there for a portion of the first half and then a portion of the second half. But I thought our guys shared the ball really well. I thought we played with great physicality. We were all over the floor, guys diving for loose balls, chasing down long rebounds. I really liked the mentality of our team.
Coach, what are some of the things that have led to some of the great starts here that you've seen from your team in recent games? Yeah, well, I think, listen, we talked about, those times we didn't have those great starts and how that impacted outcomes. We showed certainly in those games tremendous fight to come back. But I think for us, it's all about our mentality, how we're approaching, the very first possession even. And we want to do it with aggressiveness. We want to be on the attack. We're doing some things defensively, I think, to help with that too. So I like where we're at right now as far as how we're approaching the starts of these games. And it's been really, we've done a good job in the last 3 games since the Nebraska game at the start.
Some good instances of how the defense has led to offense?
Yeah. I'd like us to be a little more aggressive. It's a balance because we've had some fouling issues at times. But you want to try to create some live ball turnovers. We're not a major block shot team, so we need to create some more turnovers with our activity, get deflections and steals. I think that's an area of improvement for us defensively to put us in an advantage situation offensively more than what we're getting.
Coach, I know you had to go to the portal bringing some key elements to the team this year, but it had to be nice to see your core and Royal and John Mobley Jr. and Bruce Thornton. How important is that to have those 3 guys playing so good together?
It's really important because when it came time to construct this roster, that's where we started. Mm-hmm. Right, we started with those 3 guys and built it out around them. And I think it's a recipe we have to use here at Ohio State. Retention's really important considering the landscape, and we've got high-level belief in those 3 guys. And so I think those 3 guys have done a good job, and it gives us, depth from an ability to really score the ball and play make. And, I thought that was on full display against UCLA.
And to play well off of one another? Yeah.
I think all those guys, when you look at our assist numbers, those 3 guys are leading us in assists in Big Ten play. And that's even with Tilly and what he's been able to do, creating for others. So I think playmaking for themselves and for others has been a real bright side for us.
Coach, in all your years of coaching, how does this team compare to having big men who pass the ball as well as what we've seen from the 3 frontline players this year and others?
Yeah, well, I think when you starting with Tilly, I don't know that I've ever been a part of a team with a 7-footer that at his skill set, ability to dribble and to stop his dribble and create for someone else. Worked with some really good big guys. Caleb Wesson had an ability to pass out of the post and make decisions when he had the ball on the perimeter, but driving to create for others maybe necessarily wasn't his strength. And worked with Luke Cornett when I was at Vanderbilt, and he was really good, but didn't quite have the playmaking ability that Tilly had. And those are just kind of two guys that stand out to me recently. I think what he's been able to do, his ability to dribble and what he can do off the bounce has been really, really impactful. So we continue to utilize him, and it's important because when teams commit to our guards, we got to be able to get the ball to someone else quickly, and oftentimes that's him, and he's made some really good decisions in there.
Is that where his tools have helped when you've used him in the backcourt against pressure?
Yeah. I think having a guy with size that can handle it, pass it, and make free throws at the end of the game against pressure is really important, and he's done a great job with that, certainly.
Coach, you've used the zone defense quite a bit, and whether it's beginning of the game, middle of the game, late in the game, how do you rate your zone defense so far in terms of its effectiveness?
It's been good. I think mixing defenses, kind of changing defenses, and not letting teams get into a flow is probably the best part about it. Mm-hmm. It's also at times kept us out of foul trouble, which has been good. And, we got some things we can do and adjustments within the zone that we're getting better at making on the fly. So I like it, Ron. I think for us, the best thing for us defensively has been able to mix up what we're doing. We still got to create some more turnovers. We got to rebound the ball a little bit better. We've had some really good stretches, and this league is – I don't know that there's a league in the country that's as good at offensive rebounding that you're going to see night in and night out as the Big Ten. But those two areas, I mean, we're making teams miss. We got to get our first time rebounds. We got to foul a little bit less, and we got to we got to get some more deflection. And I think the zone can help with that.
Was using it early a big factor Saturday?
Yeah, it was the first time we had started a game early like that, going to the zone as often as we did and applying some full court pressure, with the intent of, again, not letting it. We don't want a team to get rhythm, and I think disrupting teams' rhythm, especially when you go against a really good team like UCLA, is important.
Because sometimes when you look at whether you start the game in zone or man, your guys are moving and you're getting into it. Is there the potential danger that the team could get into the rhythm easier against the zone versus man-to-man?
I think a lot of it's a feel thing in what the game is, how the flow of the game is going. Certainly and UCLA did this, right? Like there was a segment where they scored on a few straight possessions against our zone, and we went man and vice versa. So having I think two defenses that you feel confident in is helpful. We had to make some adjustments. Bilodeau for UCLA, who hadn't been shooting the ball nearly as well as he had at Penn State and against us, we had to make some adjustments on the fly for that. And he had some high-level shot making going on. So a lot goes into man zone. I won't get into all those details, but lineups, matchups, all of those things play a factor.
If you have a question for Coach Diebler, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at ohiostatebuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show inbox. Union Home Mortgage, learn more about their 1% down payment program at uhm.com, NMLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You stick to your coast at all costs. You never let traffic stop your drive. You aren't just a dreamer, you're a doer. You power through all of life's hills and valleys without hesitation. You're not looking to be discovered. You've already found your place. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Modern Office Methods, your authorized RICO dealer, can help your business optimize your print production with a competitive advantage. Our digital printing options will expand the type of paper and substrates from what your business can print on today. Add variable data capability, which allows for personalization of catalogs and mailers, and the ability for short-run label printing, which allows your business to print high volumes of custom labels quickly and on demand. Want to learn more? Start with a print assessment at momnet.com. Why risk it? You can count on Mom.
At Giant Eagle, we believe in better, and that includes finding more ways to help you save. Because finding a good deal is everyone's deal. Because every dollar and every moment counts. Because value you can count on is priceless. On sale this season at Giant Eagle, you'll find lower prices to the end of the year on favorites like Honeycrisp apples, Oreo cookies, eggs, and more. Giant Eagle, because it matters. Limited time only through 12/31/25. Prices of participation may vary.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So check out Donato's $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5 each. Order your favorite $5 Pizza Pals from Donatos.com today. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donatos. Gotta love more.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our show this week. Time for our Elk and Oak injury report. And on that subject, Jake, just an obvious thing, the presence of Christoph Tilley. And when he was missed for most of the second half at Washington, what he was able to do this past Saturday, I know that had to be a great thing that he was able to go the way he went Saturday.
Yeah, it was great. And, give him a lot of credit because he didn't get much time to practice, from the time he came out against Washington to the time the game started against UCLA. So we got a great team, certainly, monitoring everything that goes on with our guys and helping them be their best and helping them recover as quickly as they can within reason. And, Tilley spent a lot of time doing what he needed to do to get ready because that's his commitment level. And it was great having him out there. Thought he did some really good things, highlighted by the 5 assists.
Our injury report brought to you by Elk and Elk. Serious Lawyers for Serious Injuries, sponsoring Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. But you've also talked to, Jake, you're getting to that time of year, maybe it was even sooner, where everybody's dealing with a little bit of something just because of the rigors of a season. Yeah, and certainly, for us, the thing that stands out the most is the absence of Brandon. He was a double-digit scorer through 4 Big Ten games for us, and was doing some really good things, rebounding and stuff. So we miss him, but I've been happy with the way some guys have stepped up. And it takes usually when a guy like that is out of the lineup, it takes some gameplay for your team to fully adjust. But I think our guys have adjusted well. And listen, we've had some other guys who have dealt with the bumps and bruises that come with a college basketball season, and they've dealt with it really well. So we got a great team that helps those guys do that, and we're blessed with the resources we have here at Ohio State. But we got a tough group of guys, too, make no mistake about it.
Because it's one thing to have Brandon Knoll out and then Christoph Tilley dealing with his situation, and you also look at Devin Royal not being 100%. So when you have multiple guys out for practice how does that impact what your game plan is to try to be effective in practice?
Well, I think there's a balance, Ron, because you're trying to prepare a little bit as if you may not have someone or multiple guys, while also preparing as if those guys are going to be there. Like that's probably the biggest challenge, is the unknown, because I think, we got belief in everybody on our roster, and guys, have to step up when guys are out. So the balance of, kind of being able to maybe estimate who's going to be available and how you spend your time in practice is critical. But, I think it's irresponsible if you just assume everybody's going to be right 100% when they're not practicing. So you got to spend some time with contingency plans. And we've done a good job with that. I think, like, you look at how Yvonne came in and stepped up, when Tilly was out and watched, they came in and did some really good things for us. Now, got a little tired, and things, but I think we have versatility on this roster too, which helps. And we got guys who are students of the game, love to play. So we talk about it, we're built to handle adversity. I really believe that. We train for it, we prepare for it. And I think our guys have done a good job with it.
We're probably all guilty of looking at those guys stepping up, maybe just in the points category, but is it obvious that you look at them contributing in other ways?
Yeah, I mean, most importantly, plus minus, how they're impacting winning when they're on the court. And plus minus is an interesting stat because it doesn't always tell the whole story, right? And we know that. But I think when you look out there and you see, like, Yvonne doesn't necessarily get credit in the form of block shot statistics for how much he actually impacts people in the lane and forces them to miss. And then, guys may not get credit for, the pass that led to the assist, or executing great ball screen coverage that forces a team into a turnover that someone else gets credit for. So we're really evaluating, one, is everybody in there playing as hard and as tough as they can? That's where it starts. And then how does that impact winning? In certainly, while also knowing we need some guys to step up and score for us too.
We'll go to our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Jerry and Archibald asking, knowing how hard victories in the Big Ten are to come by, how long are you able to enjoy a win before having to turn the page to the next game?
Yeah, it's hard because I want our guys to certainly enjoy. We work really, really hard to get these hard, challenging victories, and I want our guys to enjoy them at least for that night. As for me, I got to do a better job of maybe enjoying it, at least until I leave the building. Sometimes it lasts like 5 minutes, and then we're in the coaches' lounge talking about what's next. And I think so that's kind of I just try to keep focused on what's ahead and keep moving forward. And you certainly work really hard to get wins in this league, and we want our players to understand that, like, winning matters, and so you can enjoy winning. But I think the coach, you got to move on pretty quickly. But when I get home and we win, my kids, you get a moment with them where they know the difference too. So that's always nice to enjoy it with them.
Coach, you've emphasized end of halves on both ends of the floor, defensively and offensively. I've just seen in the last couple of games, specifically the UCLA game, you called a play, worked to perfection, got the shot you wanted. What goes into being effective with those plays at the end of each half? Yeah,
I just believe there's a lot of momentum to be had or lost, as in the last couple minutes of the first half. And listen, we've taken an approach, and I think part of being able to save a timeout is to help with that. Sometimes, when you use your timeout matters. So if you go back to the UCLA game, I called a timeout immediately when they scored, and I actually prepped the ref and said, hey, if they score, I'm going to use one because the clock runs in the first half. It doesn't stop. So I wanted that extra time. There was a gap. When you're there, you're watching, okay, is this a situation the other team could go 2 for 1? Sometimes you'll see teams, when they score, they'll let the ball bounce, right? Or they'll toss it to the ref, or they'll take time. So we've used, if you've watched us this year, we've used timeouts even when we're going on to defense to try to preserve another possession for us on offense. So for an example, we score with 40 seconds left, and instead of letting the team waste 7-8 seconds, and now there being 32 seconds left when the shot clock starts, call timeout. Now that team, now we're guaranteed we get a rebound, right? or they score, we're guaranteed to get a possession with enough clock to do something good. So they scored. I called the timeout right away. We were able to set up, anticipating they would press. We were able to set up a screen against their press and had a good attack, and John made a great decision and got a real clean look.
With everything that goes on as a head coach, so many things on your mind that you have to deal with all of those decisions happen to be made within a couple of seconds, how important is it to have that great communication with your staff on the bench?
Yeah, it's critical. And those guys, the great thing is we practice these situations, we talk about them, and we're prepared going in. Ultimately, I'm making judgment calls in those moments. And, sometimes, like, as I've learned, there were times earlier in the year where I wanted a timeout and the ref didn't give it to me because he was shocked I was trying to call a timeout. And I had to explain to him, like, hey, this is why. He's like, well, why do you need that time? I said, because I wanted those 5 seconds so we could get another possession. That's why I was trying to call it. Like, I had to explain to the official why I was doing it. As far as the staff goes, I think reminding me, like, hey, Coach, we got a 2-for-1 situation coming up, or kind of being in my ear, like, Coach, be ready to use it if you want. Those reminders are really valuable. But the great thing is we've prepared and talked about, so everybody's in alignment. And, you really do have to make this kind of split-second decision as the ball's being scored or as you're getting the ball if you're going to go for a 2-for-1 or not. And I think you have to practice.
Do you guys practice, if at all, about whether you challenge a call or not? Is that something that you can practice in practice, or is it just instinctive?
So we have the capabilities in our practice gym to pull up film, like really quick. We don't get a bunch of angles, so it becomes a little funny, right, to see, okay, is it really out? Can you really tell who it was out on? But I think there are times we do a lot of end-of-game situations, obviously. And so there are times where I'll maybe fault, like challenge, and then I'll just kind of make up who it goes to, okay, right, just so we're kind of simulating. And I think, listen, there's a lot of strategy that goes into challenges when you use them. Is it really worth the risk? Are you 100% sure? I just tell our guy, tell me the truth. Like, don't
lie.
Don't give me one of those, like, Coach, and then if you're not 100% sure, just tell me you're not 100% sure. I just need accurate information to assess a quick decision. But we throw some challenges in practice, and I get to always be right, I guess, Ron, for whatever the situation calls for.
I love it.
Comes with a job title.
I love it.
We'll have more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through February 2nd, get 2.99 APR financing on remaining new 25 Tacomas. Excludes TRD Pro and Trail Hunter. Or lease a well-equipped 25 Tacoma SR5 for $279 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The Roosters Foundation helps raise over $1 million each year for local charities and organizations and is the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes. The Roosters Foundation is donating $25 for every foul shot the Buckeyes make at home this season to the Down Syndrome Association of Central Ohio. Jake was just thinking, you were talking about how in the challenge situation, how the official asked you why you would want to call a timeout. Since they're going to ask you that, can't you ask them why they made a call that they made? Never mind. You don't need to answer that.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't go there.
You know what I mean, though. The paint touches, you talked a lot about that, and through the course of this past game Saturday, you look at the final numbers, but even during the game, the spread was even wider. So one would guess you were happy about how your offense ran through your paint touches.
I was. I felt like it's a real strength for us, being able to play inside out. I think it's helped our three-point shooting, because there was a stretch we were struggling there, and I think we got guys who can score it. We got guys who have great feel on a perimeter on when to cut and where to create, passing lanes to get shots, and it puts a lot of pressure on defenses when you can get the ball inside, and you can do it through the post, you can do it through the drive, you can do it through the cut. There's a lot of ways to do it, and you can do it on the offensive glass. I think that was another one for us. We really went to the offensive glass well when we were on the West Coast, but we didn't always convert very well. It was good to see us convert 12 offensive rebounds, 17 second chance points. Like, that's better. So all that just, the paint real estate is critical. We just believe that on both sides of the ball, and we want to try to dominate that.
We'll go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. James in Columbus asking, knowing that officiating's never the same from game to game, do you try to have players be as physical as possible on both ends of the floor until you kind of get a read on how things are going to go? Yeah, we want to play with – we want to be the team, let's put it this way, that sets the physicality tone of the game on both sides of the ball, home, road. We really want to try to do that. Now, listen, that's I would assume a shared mentality for a lot of teams in the Big Ten, but it's something we take a lot of pride in. I felt like we did a really good job with that in the UCLA game. And listen, you not only have to adjust from the way a game starts to get called, but a lot of times you have to adjust maybe the way a game changes and how it's being called in the second half. And I think mature, experienced players are usually better at that than younger players. But I think the biggest thing you want as a coach is you just want it to be consistent on both sides of the floor. If the game's going to be a real physical game and things are let go, then make it that way, for both teams. If it's going to be a game that maybe is called a little tighter because you got a different crew, just make it that way for both teams. And I think for the most part, we got great officials in this league. You see a lot of different guys now because you're going coast to coast, and those guys travel a lot too. Like, it's a lot on them. Yeah, they don't have what they're doing. They're doing a lot of games, and so I think everybody's working to really just be consistent and call a great game. But you do have to adjust on the fly.
And speaking of consistency, we've talked about Bruce Thornton from day one, but John Mobley Jr., outside of those first two games, Coach, where he had 4 turnovers back-to-back, he has been so good. One game where he's had more than 2, and he's had a number where Goose has, including the one against UCLA when he did not turn the ball over. Again, what is he doing that is different from early in the year that's allowing him to be so good with his assist-to-turnover ratio?
I think he's slowed down when the ball's been in his hands. He's utilizing his physicality and angles a little bit better on screens. And I think once he gets, whether it's a screen where he's going to catch or he's getting a ball screen, once he gets off that screen, he's doing a better job of slowing down when he's in the paint. So it's just, you can call it poise, you can call it whatever. I think he's got unbelievable basketball feel. Mm-hmm. And I think he was going so fast sometimes that he wasn't able to use that feel, as well as he could. So getting him to slow down a little bit with the ball in his hands, we're seeing that feel and IQ that he has, and it's been really good for us.
That tied with another year experience help him go from what happened in the Washington game to the way he played Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's earned the right to be a player who can bounce back really quickly because of how hard he works, because of his experience, because of, I think he knows how much we believe in him. And so, listen, I didn't know he was going to go make 6 threes, but
take it.
I felt really confident he was going to play well. I did feel that. I felt we talked. I mean, we literally the game ended against Washington. We had a conversation on the bus before we got to the airport, and after that, it was like back to work, and he responded like good players do, and like guys who really care and guys who are talented. He's got all those characteristics. So I wasn't surprised, but I like the 6 made threes, though, Ryan. I didn't know that was going to happen.
I love that. There's a big difference when you move one tier over from being assistant to head coach. You found that out. And there's also a difference when you're the 5th and 6th man on the team as an option versus where John Mobley Jr. and Bruce Thornton is at the top of the scouting report that the team is trying to deploy. What are some of the things that you try to do as a coaching staff to get those guys to be ready for that great defense that they're going to see?
Yeah, well, I think, one of the biggest things you got to do is be in great shape. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be a great player at this level in this league, you got to be in elite shape because it gets harder and harder to be productive. So, you look at our guys and some of the minutes they're playing. Devin Royal, Junie, Bruce, I think even Tilly, and listen, what Amari Bynum's been doing as a young player. Elite condition guys, toughness, like that stuff matters. And then, at that point, I think it's your job as a coach to put them in situations where, one, they can play to their strengths, but two, create, even if it's a small advantage. You're trying to create advantages for your best players for them to then go be successful. And depending on how teams are covering guys, you got to help them. You got to help them, and then they got to help themselves. And the one thing, I think this group has a great chemistry, but the way they play off of each other has helped each other, right? And so when you look at, having multiple guys in double figures, and, I know Tilly's, numbers, they're going to get better, and he's certainly done some things really well, hadn't maybe shot it as well or whatever, right? But he's so impactful. So I think you kind of look at those 5 guys and how they're able to play off each other has been really good.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And when you download the Kroger app, you can clip and save more with digital coupons every week. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you can enjoy more ways to save and more rewards every time you shop. So it's always easy to save big every day with savings and rewards. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. Buckeyes back at home tomorrow evening, hosting Minnesota, 6:30 here at the Schottenstein Center. We'll go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. Tom in Grove City asking about adding to the roster at midseason, like what will happen with Puff Johnson. How long would you guess it might take to be fully comfortable and acclimated playing with the current players?
Yeah. Again, just such an interesting time in college basketball, and, so happy for Puff, because this has been a long road to be able to play this year, and he deserves to be able to play, and we're happy to have him. We're evaluating, I don't know exactly when his first game is going to be. We're evaluating that. He is here. We have been able to work him out, and we need to start integrating him into practice. He's spending extra time learning the playbook, watching film, understanding, what we're doing to try to speed that up as much as possible. But to be fully comfortable, I don't know. That's going to be really hard. But I think to be pretty comfortable, he's got a lot of experience. He's a versatile player. So I think I feel good about it not taking very long for him to be pretty comfortable versus maybe fully comfortable.
What do you remember about going up against him last year?
Well, he didn't play.
He did not play in that game?
He did not play in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, he only played 7 times.
I withdraw the question then.
He did not play when we played, but I remember when you look at what he was doing and how Penn State was playing when he was on the court for them last year, they had gotten off to a great start. So he's got a lot of experience. He obviously he's been on a deep run in the NCAA tournament, and so. But I think he and I have talked about this, expectations. As far as how things start, we got to be. I think we got to be realistic and be patient, but just want him to obviously play to his strengths within what we're doing. And I think his experience and the type of young man he is and his versatility it gives us the best chance to really be a good thing for us.
Coach, here you are, middle of January, 18 games in. You're always progressing to be your very best at the end of the year. How do you, when you look at last year, how do you compare where your team is? I know it's a different team, but most of your core is back. So just give us a little bit of a comparison of where you are now as compared to last year at this time.
Yeah. Well, I like our record better.
Yeah, I do too.
I think, listen, two very different teams. Yep. A lot of fun, good things from last year's team. This team, the vibe on this team is very different. I think for us, the chemistry that we have, and it's hard because you're recalibrating your chemistry every year, right? And we had our off-court chemistry last year was good, and we had some good on-court chemistry. I think this team's on-court chemistry has kind of started and grown faster than last year. I think, from an offensive standpoint, I think we're clicking a little bit earlier than maybe we were last year. And so, now we're, unfortunately, similarities. We're facing some roster adversity. Yep. This year with Brandon being out, like we faced with some guys being out last year. So I like where our mentality is at right now. I think it took us a little bit longer to capture that last year. I like where our mentality is right now. And, listen, this stuff is so hard every game, Ron. So I haven't spent a lot of time, honestly. That's a tough question. I haven't thought a whole lot about last year. All I've been thinking about is Minnesota right now.
All right, so speaking of, tell us about the Gophers and what you see.
Yeah, well, Cade Tyson's really playing at a high level, individually. I think you got to start there. And what he's been able to do and I think what he's, the efficiency that he's playing with has been really impressive. And then you look at them collectively, they don't go very deep on their bench. But I think they got 5 guys who are, double-figure scorers. Mm-hmm. They got an ability to shoot the ball from 3. I think they're mixing things up defensively, changing defenses. And listen, they've knocked off 2 ranked teams at home. They've been leading in second halves, on the road. Like, this is a team that I think is playing its best basketball the last handful of games. And, Coach in his first year has done some really good things. So this is going to be a classic, hard-fought, from the jump all the way to the end, Big Ten game is what we're preparing for.
Like last year's up there.
Yeah, that was
2 overtimes.
Man, that was something. That was something. What a fun environment to be in the barn, as you guys have been there. It's such a historic place, and listen, they're doing a good job. They got multiple guys, like basically 4 out of their 5 guys on the floor can shoot threes. They're big, can shoot 3. Like, they can do some things offensively. And he's, followed him as a head coach at Colorado State, and he's done some really good things offensively throughout his head coaching career. So they're continuing to do that. And yeah, good team, really good team.
Coach, when you talk about your bench production and their lack of, because they kind of go with their core guys, you mentioned that Gabe Cupps did well on the road, Ivan Nagovin, even Tayson Chapman. Just what have they done in practice that has translated out on the court? Yeah, Brian, I think the thing that I'm most encouraged by is we are the guys who we rely on to come off the bench are playing more aggressive. I think they've embraced this kind of shift in mentality our whole team has had, as far as being in more of an attack mode, playing more aggressively. And I'm starting to see a little bit more consistency from those guys. And listen, we got to go do it in the game, certainly, right? Like, that's ultimately when it matters most. But I think they're trying to do the right things, and that's going to help us. It certainly is. And you'll see guys like Gabe did against Oregon. I think you're going to see maybe a guy here or there that will have kind of a breakout moment, hopefully here soon, hopefully starting tomorrow. We saw Ivan Saturday throw in a jump hook. We've seen him at other times do some things offensively. Is time on the floor helping feed his confidence? I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, he has had limited experience up to this point in his career. Young player, halfway around the world, right? Comes over. I mean, just his body has changed. He's gotten more skilled. I've just been really happy with how hard he's been working and how he's been progressing, and that he can score inside. Like, his defense has gotten a lot better. His ability to alter shots around the rim. So I think he's progressing well. He's got to be a productive player for us. I mean, we need him to step up and come in and be productive, because his size is really important. And with Brandon being out, his production's important now. So he's got to continue to be aggressive and play with confidence, and I like what he's been doing the last few games. Coach, when you look at the mystique of UCLA back in the day, and I know things have changed with everything. It's been a long time since Lou Alcindor and all those guys, Bill Walton, had played. But do these kids have any idea of, like, what UCLA used to be back in the day? Ron, I don't know if they
if they'll ever fully understand what UCLA was. We talked when we went out there last year, when we got to practice in their, we wish we would have preferred to be on their arena an extra day, but we were in their kind of rec center where they've had some historic runs, and John Wooden was hosting practice and, things like that. So that was pretty cool for me. And I think we talked about the history. And listen, we talked about it, the stage that was Saturday, UCLA versus Ohio State on CBS, like two storied programs. Like we didn't shy away from that, and got a great deal of respect for them. I think our players know it's a storied program. I don't think they know all the details of how storied it is, but yeah, we certainly had a high level of respect for the history of those two teams being matched up together.
More with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hey, Buckeye fans, are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through February 2nd, you can get $5,000 customer cash on remaining new 25 Tundras. Or get 0.99 APR financing on Tundra plus $1,000 TFS APR cash. With approved credit through TFS, excludes TRD Pro. APR cash must be applied to deal. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare. And welcome back to our show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler. Ronald in Akron with our next question in the Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Each circumstance probably different, but when you have to sub out a player who's made a mistake, how much time do you generally wait to get them back in there and shake it off?
Man, yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that question.
Loaded.
I think depends what kind of mistake it is, right? If it's aggressive, like attacking mistake, like those, I really don't have a whole lot of problem with it. And the player's probably not coming out for that in the first place. And maybe it's to get a rotation back on track or fatigue or something else. If you come out for, not playing tough enough and playing with a high enough motor, that's one that I take great issue with. And, I think the big thing I try to do is, even if guys may not go back in quickly or again, I try to have dialogue with them throughout the course of the game to keep them ready, understand what the expectations are, for them to go back in and how we want them to play. But, I think, listen, I once was a guy that didn't get many minutes, and so I can relate to the challenge it is to go from not playing for a significant stretch to playing, or maybe getting just a brief moment in the game and not playing for another significant stretch. So, we certainly try to take that into consideration with guys, but I think the most important thing is being clear on why they came out. I don't want them coming out thinking like, man, I came out because I turned it over because I was driving it and I lost it, because it probably didn't come out for that. Right, like as long as they were aggressive, and it's my job to provide that clarity, and our staff. Talk to our staff a lot about making sure we're communicating with everybody throughout the course of the game.
So the additional challenge with that, Coach, because every possession is so important, especially when you're going against good teams at this juncture of the year, the opportunity to try to get them back in may be limited because they're only going to play so many minutes anyway. So talk about that challenge and what goes into how do you balance that?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, even when you look at UCLA, there was, I wanted to put a couple guys in there in the second half or build a lead, and then I can't remember how many possessions UCLA scored off the top of my head in a row, and that changed, kind of my mentality in that moment. Now, so like even then, you say, well, maybe he needed to, something he didn't. Maybe they were tired. Right, good luck. That's why I tell our guys, what you do in practice matters. The intent and mentality you're playing with, even if it's for 2 minutes, matters. Because if I see you out there being hesitant, and I see you out there maybe lacking some toughness and some things, again, not expecting anybody to play to perfection. But if you're lacking those things, when it's crunch time and we need to change momentum of a game, it makes it hard for me to put you back in the game in that time. So those are kind of the conversations we're having with guys, trying to certainly let them know and remind them the belief we have in them. They're here for a reason. But, there's game flow matters.
Sure. We talk about practice and all that, but, and Saturday being an example, you had everybody out there in the morning, your game day shoot-around you always have. One would imagine you're always looking for a look from your guys when they first hit the court early on a Saturday morning like that.
Yeah. I mean, and listen, Saturday we kept it lighter. I wanted our guys flying around and ready to go, and I think this time of the year you got to manage certainly the physical and mental fatigue of a season, and you want guys mentally and physically fresh for game day, and we try to really be mindful of that, but. I felt like we had a look in our eye and shoot around where it was, hey, we're ready, and that's what you're looking for. And I think we've been that way now for a few games in a row. And the challenge, what happens is you got to maintain that, right? It impacts how you start games, but then also when the adversity of the game happens, which it will happen in Big Ten play, you got to be able to withstand that and battle that really well.
Coach, obviously the next game is the most important game. With the short turnaround, mandatory practice off, how do you, as a staff, prepare for the next opponent, but at the same time, you got to be focused on the next game at hand?
Yeah, well, the head coach focuses on the game at hand, and we have certain guys on staff who are working ahead. That way, the moment our game ends, that's why it's, the question before, do you celebrate? It's like, well, the moment that game ends, I'm turning my mind to the next one because we may only have 48 hours or whatever it is, 72 hours before we're playing again. So, and especially when you're going through the first half of the season where you're playing teams for the first time. Now, when you play teams a second time, it's a little different, but you got to see what adjustments they're making and things. So it's a total team effort, but we've designated some guys on staff to help prepare us. So we're ready to go right away.
And obviously that helps with the two of them being at home from Saturday to tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I think being at home and sleeping in your own bed is great. We've had them already where we've had to go on the road too, so it's part of life in the Big Ten.
Yes, it is. Thank you as always. We'll see you here tomorrow evening.
All right, guys. Thanks. Go Bucks.
That is Ohio State head coach Jake Diebler. Thanks for listening to today's show, presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Middies. Join us tomorrow as Ohio State hosts Minnesota. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45 p.m. For Skip Mossick, Cole Bartimus, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.